The original home of the world's fashion. One great thing about African fashion is the fact that it can tell a story just by the looks. My name is Olukemi Yomotoke Dada, and I'm using this medium to say a big welcome to this YouTube channel where we get to educate ourselves, or better still, explore Africa in terms of fashion. In case you haven't noticed, African women are usually used as an epitome of elegance, a symbol of beauty all over the world. And you would agree with me, like, what is an African woman without the African culture, without the African attire, the beads, the dress, and everything that makes up African fashion? The way African fashion makes use of colors and patterns is a vivid form of art. African fashion is easy to wear. It has bright and beautiful prints. You get to show off your unique personality. In short, the artistry in African fashion makes it stand out all over the world. Now, it won't make sense to talk about African fashion and not start from the origin, from where it started. The evolution of clothing in Africa is quite difficult to trace, since there isn't a written form of history or actual historical evidence. But fortunately, a lot can be pieced together by tribal members who hand down fashion materials, clothing from generation to generation, by words of mouth and by artifacts. For example, the Eyo of Lagos, if you see that statue, you can always tell the kind of dressing. You might not be able to tell the actual fabric used, but then you can tell it has to be a fabric that flows. There's a staff. You can describe the costume. Generally, clothing were not used as a form of warmth and protection from the onset. Clothing were used to make a statement, and for the Gen Z, I would like to say clothing is mainly for slaying. Due to the favorable temperature, Africans wore just aprons from the start, and later on they started using barks of trees, and they would beat them till they are soft and flexible, and then match them together with raffia and then form something to wear. Africans use clothing to express themselves, to express the status of the individual putting them on, to actually tell a particular group from another. For example, dancers, they have their special dressing. Maids have different dress. Another example is the backing of Desire. They have a costume meant for the king that the king wears when he wants to go when he wants to ascend to the throne. He wears this costume. The costume is made of beads, bones, jewelries, shells, and it's quite heavy, but then the king wears it for accession. It is only entitled, as in this costume is made for just the king, and nobody else can wear it. The king wears this all through his life, not necessarily every day, but he wears it for ceremonies and is eventually buried with it. These are the kind of statements Africans use costumes for. It's a pity colonization has had a bit of force, okay, maybe a massive force on African fashion, because even after independence, a lot of organizations still find it difficult to incorporate African fashion into the dressing of their employees. But thank God for rural areas who have preserved a lot of African culture and heritage and dressing, and we're going to be exploring all those rural areas on this channel. Do stay tuned, and if you've not subscribed at this point, can you do so? And you can click the notification bell to get alerted each time I post a new video. So as I was saying, due to colonization, traditional dressing have been replaced greatly by the Western dress code. But welcome to the 21st century where African fashion is coming back to life, it's coming back to vogue. I want to use this medium to say a big shout out to men who have decided to constantly wear kaftans to work. I see men wear kaftans to work on a Monday and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It's high time we start embracing our culture. There's no harm in putting on European dress code, but the idea is to bring in African fashion. The idea is to wear a bit of your origin as well. So that's going to be all for today. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe now, and that's going to be all for now. And our next video is going to be packed with a lot of African fashion designs that you never know existed. We're going to be talking more about the origin of a lot of clothes, such as the kente from Ghana, adire from in Nigeria by the Yorubas. There's another fabric called kitenge. We're going to be exploring a lot more of this on this channel. Please do subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and let us know how you feel in the comment section. I remain yours truly, Olukemi Omotoke, and I'm going to see